What do I think of her?
Yes?
I don't think of her.
Shut your f***ing mouth. I've had enough of you, you beast.
Beast?
Yeah.
How dare you?
Glass of red wine and a swisher. I think you get the picture, bitch.
How dare you?
To open this amazing podcast, here, live in the studio, coming at you from San Francisco, the worst city in the world, is myself, local icon, gay sensation, Joan Summers.
And this is Matthew Lawson. I can't get myself a title at this point.
In the words of Nene Leakes, bye wig. And to that, I have nothing else to say to the blow-up sex doll that is Kim Zolciak Bierman. Goodbye. But we'll get into that later in the show. First off, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good.
Iconic, amazing co-host of mine.
Oh, is that my title? Iconic,
yeah,
amazing
I'm a little
co-host.
wasted, so I'm just giving you lots of compliments before we dive into all the hot tops of the week.
Oh my god, so many tops.
That is a word uttered by no one ever. It's
Yes.
usually there's not enough tops. But
That's
I
true.
digress.
So here we have enough tops.
Yeah, there's two tops.
two
in
many
the room.
tops.
There's two tops in this room for you right now on this podcast. It's why everyone likes us so much.
Too many tops.
Tops are in hot demand, and here we are in hot demands. The Venn diagram of tops and the two co-hosts of this podcast is a circle. So, before we go
Yeah.
further down this rabbit hole,
Yeah.
what was your week like? Tell me about your life. Like, give me all the dirt.
Oh, it was such nice weather. I just wanted to, stay inside all day and play, video games and relax, So the usual. No.
Your life is
something
so
exhilarating.
good.
Yeah.
But
But what did you do? Oh,
it just be like that sometimes.
Feeling good, feeling good, yeah.
Mercury was in retrograde. I get to claim that. I think I cried every single day last week. But I'm here. I'm ready to not cry on this podcast. I'm ready to really, therapeutically yell all of my feelings out of my body.
That's
so
good,
that
that's
I can
good.
sleep
That's
peacefully
healthy.
like a baby tonight.
that's all. Okay, that's what we're here for. We're here for, the therapeutic aspect.
I don't have a therapist, but if I did, I would almost 100% guarantee you that part of her advice to me would be start a podcast with your gay best friend and
Yeah.
then yell each week about things that piss you off, and you'll feel so much better.
I think that's a good therapist.
Also, Bravo reality TV show.
Okay, can I tell you how Bravo was abusing me? There's so much content happening at once right now.
Okay.
There's so much.
2 reunions.
A finale,
One finale.
almost a finale,
3 Housewives franchises on at the same
and no,
time.
and there's premieres.
Yeah, Southern Charm New Orleans.
Oh my god.
Below Deck Mediterranean's coming back.
And then Potomac just started.
The Real Housewives of Orange County trailer is going to drop
and New
literally
York
any
just
day now.
and New York just started. and then
Literally,
Vanderpump Rules, Beverly Hills,
it
and
feels like
Atlanta
my
is
teeth
ending.
have been kicked in every single night of the week. I'm like, oh, Monday it's Vanderpump Rules.
I know, I can't even catch up in
Tuesday,
time.
It's Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Oh, Wednesday it's Real Housewives of New York.
It's too much.
Thursday it's gonna be Below Deck. Oh my god, and then it's Southern Charm. Oh my god.
Oh my
I
God.
cannot catch a breath.
And you say Southern Charm New Orleans is worth it?
You know what?
What do you really think about it?
I am a true Bravo-holic, which is what all the t-shirts say on the blogs that you can buy is Bravo-holic.
Real men
is what
watch
they
Bravo.
want us to be called.
Yeah,
It's a
guess
little
so.
revisionist history for me. But if that's what Andy wants me to call myself, I will call myself that gladly. I watch all of Bravo's shows, if they're good or not. I know you have more taste than I do.
More taste?
I have...
As a tastemaker, yes.
Not only have I seen every single episode of every single iteration of The Real Housewives, but I've also seen every single episode of Top Chef. So,
And Below Deck.
And Below Deck.
And Southern Charm.
I don't want to talk about it. You know what? Much like you thinking that you are high class with high class tastes, sitting on your Casper mattress recording this podcast.
The school
with
of
me.
fancy boys taught me well.
Yeah. Me, I grew up in the real world, and
The
what the
real
real
world?
world taught me was that I really love a kind of a cultural anthropology moment, which is why I watch things like Below Deck and Southern Charm.
To connect back to your roots?
Not to connect to my roots, but to see how the people of the world live.
The other people.
Yeah, the people who aren't me living
Yeah.
in my glass castle in San Francisco.
Well, I started Sure. Glass castle.
I mean, the
You mean your glass
underground
casket?
garden apartment
yeah.
that I pay way too
Garden
much money
is
for.
a nice word for
Wow.
whatever that is.
Why do you have to expose me? Why can't you ever just let me live in my own
You're
delusions?
leaving. You're going. You're getting a new
True,
place.
I'm moving.
Yeah.
So the moving is still happening, which is why I was crying.
Yeah.
Do you know what it's like to move 5 times in 5 years?
I've literally moved twice in my life.
I
so
feel like little
cannot
Orphan
complain.
Annie. Like I literally have like
Penny and a
picked
prayer?
rocks and cans with my penny and a prayer.
Just
like,
all your belongings in a knapsack.
in a little rucksack.
yeah, a little rucksack with the stick.
I've slung it over.
Walking over the train tracks to a better future.
my cat on one shoulder.
You want to see? You wanted to see the greener grass, and
singing
You came to
Britney
San
Spears
Francisco.
a cappella.
why Britney Spears a cappella?
Because that's
Is that
what
the moment?
if I was just a vagabond on the road, I'd sing Britney Spears a cappella in a nice denim cutoff with a
It makes sense.
beat up Thrasher t-shirt. You know, It's
Yeah,
my
and some
moment.
and some boots that
That's my
that kill.
vagabond look. What's yours?
my vagabond looked,
Yeah, yours is like an Adidas tracksuit. We get it.
but like
You
really
like spending
stained and
money.
like very old. The one I own, the only one I wear.
Oh God. You're
You
trying
call
to
me
tell
out for the tracksuit, but you know it's just because I'm lazy. It's like it's easy fashion.
It's like it's
an easy moment.
it's money lazy. Like,
money. It's not even money.
you had to spend money to look this lazy.
It's not even that much money.
That's really what millennial fashion is spending a lot of money to look like you don't spend any money on
It's
all
paying
of
extra
yourself.
for the Instagram pink
Yes.
that is just regular pink but a little dustier.
Well, it's
but
like,
twice the price.
It's spending $50 on a moisturizer rather than $20 so that you can still look like you didn't get ready in the
Didn't
morning.
you just tell me about a really expensive moisturizer that you said was totally worth it?
I don't want to talk about it. Please stop exposing me and undermining all of my points. So we are now, 9 minutes into this podcast.
We
and
did
have
not even say the
actu-
name of this show. the
We
entire
are.
time.
Okay, wait. Do you want to do it? Because I always do it.
Welcome to the fabulous, amazing, non-stop perfection, everything that is legendary.
Top 10 podcast, bitch.
Yes, iTunes certified, if
We
you will.
haven't said the name. Eating for free.
It's eating for free.
Eating for free. Eating for free. Eating for free.
Eating for free.
Ooh.
Ooh, welcome.
Welcome. So I want to start the show off a little bit differently. I know the show has been started for about 8 minutes now, but you know what? We're here and we're living our lives.
This is all a prologue.
It's all a prologue to this that I'm about to read to you right now. So we got a letter last week in our inbox that touched me a lot. And I had a kind of crazy week and I had a lot going on and I was really stressed out. And then I saw this and I won't lie, I went back to read it a few times.
Oh my god, I had to blink twice. Like I read it and then I was like, okay, and then I went back and I was like, oh.
And then I woke up and was like, did
Yeah.
I really read that?
Yeah.
So I'm going to read a letter from one of our listeners. I'm not going to say her name because, you know, privacy is a luxury and we are willing to grant it on this podcast. But I got this in the mail or in the inbox this week. And then I sent it to Lawson and was like, oh my God, can you believe that someone said this? And then we talked about it and we'll talk about it again after I read it. But let me just read it because it touched me so much. Hey, Joan and Matthew, thanks for putting your authentic selves on blast every week. I love you both so much for it. I only recently came to the realization that my love for women isn't something I'm tricking myself into. It sounds silly, but I was basically raised to believe that straight was the only way, and anything related to LGBT culture was fake. The thought of not being attracted to men never crossed my mind. Feelings that used to make me cringe now make me smile, and you both had a lot to do with that. You truly have changed my life for the better and opened my eyes to this wonderful community. And for that, I feel more than compelled to say thank you.
I literally like
Wig!
what a moment. Like God.
listen.
Literally wig, yeah.
So, not to start the podcast off with a little bit of self-congratulations, but I just want to say, like, all jokes aside, because we have lots of them on this podcast, because we're funny people. Can you not laugh at that?
I mean, it's funny.
We really did start this because we really
we love
like.
being gay.
Well, not even just that. I mean, don't
Duh.
erase me as a bisexual woman.
Okay.
Over here.
I won't.
A bisexual transgender woman of varying sexual orientations depending on my mood of the week.
We'll get there.
But see, look, diversity.
Yeah.
So, no. we started this podcast mostly because we had a point of view on culture that was at times to the people around us unpopular, or people were afraid to say it, or we just didn't really feel like that niche that we occupy was really being discussed in any kind of platform that was easily accessible. And so we started this podcast mostly because I bullied Lawson day in and day out for 3 weeks at our, office job. Please start this with me, please, please, please.
She likes to make you think that, but it was really me, actually. I'm just gonna say that right now.
Wow.
No, I'm kidding. This is such a real moment. I'm trying to make fun.
So, oh my god, God, look at you having a hard time expressing your emotions. We're trying to be serious.
Put me into the ground, why don't you? Okay.
Listen, don't make me come over there and kick your teeth in one more time. So,
Ooh.
we really just started this out of pure love and just like the fun that we get coming into the studio week after week and recording this.
It's really just us being authentic.
Is unmatched. Yeah. We're just
that's what we really
here
wanted to do.
as ourselves, being ourselves, and the fact that anyone felt compelled enough through what we do each week to come to that kind of realization on their own is incredible. I mean, truly cannot say enough how no matter what you think we might have done for you in your life, that letter has just rejuvenated us and made us continue wanting to do this week in and week out for all of you guys. I mean, the amount that this has blown up for 2 people with like 100 followers on Instagram, that's a lie because I'm much more famous than that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's really heartening and it made me feel really good inside. And I think a lot of times when you make new projects, you kind of just forget the joy and the love that you have doing it, and that really rekindled all the feelings that this podcast gives me.
Like when we come into the record,
thank you.
Thank
you, listener. That meant a lot.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna cry because I've been crying a lot, but yeah, no, thank you.
Yeah, because when we come into record, it's kind of like we have to shift this mode, and then like afterwards, it's kind of like day is normal. So when we read that, it really was a good affirmation, and I think it's seeing people that are very casual and confident about themselves, which is something neither of us have been able to do until really we started living our own life and have gotten to this point. It's very difficult
really
for us to get this far.
I mean, as a trans person, it's not easy to authentically be yourself, and authenticity is a word we talk about all the time and doesn't really have a lot of meaning in the cultural conversation these days, but it takes a lot to transition day in and day out and maintain a normal job and healthy relationships and do all the things that I am fortunate and blessed enough to do. And I don't think I take the time enough now to appreciate what I do have and the kind of life I do get to live. So for people who listen to this podcast or come to this podcast and are able to find any sense of where we are in our lives and apply them to our own, feels really good.
It really does.
We're both really blessed with amazing support systems, great partners, stable jobs, and an income that can provide for us, that we realize, I mean, I forget sometimes that I very recently did not have any of those things, and my life used to be much more dramatic, and there used to be much more of like a struggling aspect.
And I couldn't even imagine
to
being able to
my
speak
existence.
about what we want and the way we do, and feel so confident doing. These are things that we used to just maybe do online in our free time, and that was kind of a second life. So now being able to put it into this format,
it took a lot of work
so much better
to be able to just even start a podcast like this and talk as freely as I do. But I just want to say to all of you who listen and gain even just a little bit of happiness from us, thank you. We love hearing from you, and all of our letters, even the ones that go unread, we appreciate all of them greatly. But that one especially just deserved a shout out. So let's get on to the news. Let's stop crying, Joan. What do you have for me this week? Because I always talk way too much.
Should we just get Atlanta out of the way?
No, let's save that for the break. Let's dive
okay.
into the news. The people come here for the real stories.
Okay, so I want to say that we 100% predicted what happened this week, and it's Kanye tweeting all this random shit and all these crazy things that I do not even follow him, and yet I hear about it all day. Did we not say this last week? We talked about his book,
Well, we
and I
did
said
talk
he's
about
going to
his
tweet.
book.
I said he was going to tweet all the weird parts of his book, and we're going to find out everything about it through
Well,
Twitter. And that's what it kind of has
did
become.
say that his book wasn't going to be a book. It was just going to be a really long, overdone Twitter thread.
Which is what's happening at this point.
I personally can't forget that Kanye West posed with the president. Not even the president, Donald Trump. Let's just. You know.
I was when you said president, I was like,
Who? I know.
not
Even
who.
that felt wrong coming out of my mouth.
I was like, what?
He posed with Donald Trump inside of Trump Tower as part of some. He was saying it was a social experiment. We all are just like,
Sis.
sure. You know, continue doing these Yeezy campaigns that gain a little bit of notoriety, but no one actually buys the clothes because who wants to spend $1,000 on a pair of sneakers that look like you ran through the mud in them? Anyways, all I have to say is Jenny Holzer has laid stake to the ground that Kanye is now occupying, and this whole
What is
quit
this
your
about?
day jobs. Oh, do you
Yeah.
know Jenny Holzer?
No, I know
honey?
who she is. I'm saying,
Yeah.
what about her with
Well,
Kanye?
no, like these fake deep platitudes that sound
yeah.
good on the internet, but when applied to your real life, make you just a sociopath. That's hard to be around.
It's like fake deep going on real deep, but like
Well,
still fake.
That's all.
Ooh, all right.
Wig.
So other hot topics. What other things are going around here? Around
Did
this
you
world?
see that article in the Hollywood Reporter about the men who have been exiled because of Me Too?
I did read about this. Is it talking about
Wait, did you have this as one of your hot
No, I
topics?
actually
'Cause
didn't.
I was
No, I
like waiting to
didn't.
talk about this with
Oh
you.
no, I love it though. It's about like all their houses, right? All the house. I don't even know. Okay,
Yeah,
you get
so
into it. Get into it.
basically, the Hollywood Reporter released this article this week about how men who have been exiled. Matt Lauer was kind of like the big ticket on
The
this.
example, yeah.
About how you know we might have exiled them for being basically the people we brought down through the Me Too movement. They're still getting to live in their like 50,000 square foot Hamptons mansions. So Matt Lauer
waited on them hand and foot still pretty much.
yeah, who worked at NBC, as all of you know, we talked about. He got outed as a notorious and violent sexual predator.
I was just reading that he had a button
Yes.
under his desk to lock the door to his office.
Yes.
I literally had to read that like 17 times in a row. I was like, what kind of fucking horror movie shit is this?
So the Hollywood
Wild.
Reporter has basically been reporting on how he's doing a lot of soul searching at his compound in the Hamptons, which
Soul
is a
searching.
14,000 square foot property he bought for $33 million.
I bet we could all have some good soul searching in
The
a house that
Hollywood
large.
Reporter writes that his Me Too prison cell overlooks the Peconic Bay and includes 12 bedrooms, 12 bathrooms, a 60-foot heated swimming pool, a private 240-foot dock, and an island-inspired tea house.
Island in
Yeah.
die. Literally, like what? It really pisses me off because at this point, it's like, yeah, you might have lost your notoriety and your fame and your your reputation, but like you still get to literally wine and dine and live a life of luxury.
So this whole article, to get down to brass tacks, is about how we called out wealthy men, but because none of them are actually facing criminal charges, aside from Harvey Weinstein, they all get to basically just retreat into their wealth. It's like basically like we got them fired from their jobs, but they have enough money to live on for
They went
9
into early
lifetimes.
retirement is really what
Yeah.
it is, which is pretty much what people dream of. But like some people, okay, do you ever think about how some people, I want to say this is general. It's like maybe like 99% of the population just wants to live in like a nice home and have like food to eat on the table and just enjoy a nice
Or
day
like
free
Harvey
and
Weinstein.
not have to work. And that's literally what these people can retire
Harvey
to.
Weinstein
the second stuff
depriving
happened to them.
actresses of stable jobs or careers that they were on the rise for.
Putting some people into complete like disarray with their success.
basically
and
like throwing
ruining their
off
lives.
people's entire lives. He basically gets to just retreat into luxury homes he lives across the world, even though a lot of them have been sold now. We cannot misreport facts. But, Matt Lauer has harassed, gotten women fired, like sexually assaulted countless women, and he basically just gets to go live at his luxury home in the Hamptons for the rest of his life unless criminal charges ever get brought against him. It's like, honestly,
And there's still friends of theirs that don't give a shit, don't care. I mean, sure, it's hard for them, but
petition
like
a movement for sexual predators to basically donate all of their belongings to their victims and then live in a 1-bedroom home, I don't know, somewhere in
it's
Iowa.
like, I know, it's like reparations. Like you
Not
need to
even a 1-bedroom
redistribute the
home,
wealth.
a 1-bedroom apartment in an apartment building. You all get to live together, but like you do not
A
you
wayward
should
home.
not be able to just maintain your life as a super rich person while like especially all these people made their money while they were active predators. They
No,
get
that's
to
the
just
thing.
retreat now, and all the women that they abused Just, you know,
This is always the problem
too bad
with-
for you guys. You got your moment in the sun, but I'm still rich.
This is truly what happens with almost all injustices, is that money is like rarely actually a consequence of your actions. Unless the crime was money based, you're pretty much rarely going to be extorted enough or taken advantage of enough by
it
the
makes me crazy.
it's
What
no,
about
it's
you, though?
insane.
What do you got?
Okay, I have 2 people that got dragged on Twitter, and it's kind of interesting. They're 2 very different people. Let's start with the first. Did you hear what Kalani was saying about her sexuality and what everyone was getting in an uproar about?
Was this when she was like, I'm into men, women.
I have it right here. Do you want-
Polypansexual puppies. Like,
the poppy.
I just remember seeing it, but okay, read the
Should we
statement.
call it an iOS press release? Okay, I'm gonna call it an iOS press release. So, she was replying to somebody, and I guess this is like people are just getting in the moment of it. She said on Twitter, "'Cause I keep getting asked, I'm queer, not bi, not straight. I'm attracted to women, men, really attracted to queer men, non-binary people, intersex people, trans people, little poly pansexual poppy. Hello, good morning." Does that answer your question? I don't understand
Just
that fully.
Read what the reaction to this was, and then I'll get on my soapbox.
Okay, so of course, yes. So what I first saw by a lot of people I follow was saying, "Can you just say you're bisexual?" Because a lot of people are arguing that if you're into men, women, trans people, non-binary people, whatever you know, queer men, you're still into both genders and sexes and whatever you want to call it. So you might as well just say you're bisexual. And a lot of people were kind of mad because there's like not much bisexual representation, and she would be a really good, I guess, candidate for it. And then also a lot of people were pretty much
fair
just dragging her for saying, if you're really into queer men, what does that exactly mean? And it's just like, I don't know. It's just pretty messy. And she was pretty much just shutting some people out after they asked her about it. So
okay. I'm gonna say something again that's like super unpopular because that's my gig. Is, you know, Destiny's Child said it best when they said, "Say my name, say my name."
say my name, say my name. Sorry, continue.
Because I have found with a lot of contemporary artists specifically.
You want to say young or?
Yes, young
Yeah.
contemporary artists. When
She's
asked
like
about
our-
their
she's
sexual-
exactly
yeah,
our
she's
age,
our
yeah.
age. She went to school with your boyfriend.
She did.
Yeah. So yeah, she's definitely our age.
I forgot about that.
I know, right? I forget about that like once a day. Every time he tells me about her, I'm like, oh yeah, like you went to school with her. I forgot.
And
Anyways.
another friend of mine was like, saw her at a club.
No.
Okay, never mind. I won't tell that
We
story. I
cannot
will not tell that story.
You're not allowed to tell that story because that is
The tea is
messy
too hot and
even
it's
for
too
us.
messy. Yeah, continue. Sorry.
So we can't do that. We'll get in trouble. So we see a lot of these celebrities now come out and they talk about sexuality, and it's this like weird attitude a lot of them take, which is, wah, don't label me, but also I'm not going to label myself.
And then throw out a bunch of labels.
Yeah. And I get it. It really sucks to be in the public spotlight and feel like people are labeling you without really knowing anything about you. And it also sucks as just an everyday person to be labeled as, you know, like a lot of people think that because I'm a trans woman that I was either like, it's this hard line that they either think I was a gay man before, so I'm only going to date men now, or they think that I was a man into women, and so as a trans woman now I'm just a lesbian because I'm into women. And there's this like weird, like, people don't really know how to take my sexuality, and it's like I've dated men and I've dated women, therefore I'm bisexual, and that's like hard for people to kind of wrap their brains around. And
then there's like choosing to identify as that.
yeah,
in general.
we'll get also what the tea gets even hotter when it's I've dated women as a straight man, I've dated men as a gay man, I've dated men as a straight man, and now I've dated men and women as a woman. So, you know,
I think that's why people want to make bi like pretty much the more common option, because it's simpler, I guess. It encompasses everything.
What her answer kind of reeks of is this modern sentiment that queer gets to be the catch-all for people that don't want
that's
to
exactly what I was thinking
kind
about.
of ascribe to any one thing, because
I know a lot of people that call themselves queer that just mean they're
Yeah.
men to men or women to women, but they still call themselves queer.
You know, like for me, I can say, oh, I'm trans, I'm bisexual. You know, I really don't want womanhood to be the final frontier for gender, but I'm a woman. So, you know, I'm really gender queer. And like, I could go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah.
But trans woman who's bisexual is the most easily diluted label out of all those things, because it is not only a easily digestible identifier, but it also puts me in the political camps of the labels that I'm ascribing
Which
to.
is sadly so important at
Yes,
this point, though, because
we live in a
it's-
day and
yeah.
age where your label is going to speak more than
That's what
you
the headline
might
is.
want
When
it
you're
to.
when you're putting a headline of a news article, it's gonna start with trans, bisexual, or it's gonna start with
Yeah.
like homosexual guy
And
does this. You know, that's
if
just
you're
what it is.
someone in the spotlight, I feel like what happens now is we're living in that day and age where you don't get to just be whatever you want to be in your private time.
and that's
and
unfortunate.
then-
We know that.
Yeah,
like
no,
we know that it's difficult to
we
talk about
don't
this kind of
want
stuff.
it to be like this, and I don't ever press or assume sexuality from anyone. But with today's climate, especially when having a voice and having the luxury of having a national platform is so
Exactly.
valuable, you don't get to just say, "Oh, well, I'm queer," and then have that be the end conversation. And getting defensive, I always find it's the defensiveness that's weird, because queer is a new term, and just expecting people to hear queer and then immediately just abolish any questions they have of you is bizarre.
Well, like,
because
yeah.
I know, and I've not kissed their asses, I've chewed them a new one for saying this. I know straight men who say they want to be queer because, oh, well, I'm a feminist and I'm into healthy new relationships.
I like to live
or,
a life like a woman and
yeah.
a man, but still be like.
I
this and
have
that,
a
yeah.
Tinder with my girlfriend and we're looking for a threesome hookup, so we get to call ourselves queer. That's like a thing that happens.
yeah. Ugh.
Queer, unfortunately, doesn't mean anything anymore, kiddos. You have to be more specific. And the weird defensiveness from celebrities anytime sexuality gets brought up is bizarre.
A lot of people think it's a cop out to say queer or to say this like long list of
Yes.
who you're into, because it kind of takes you out of the responsibility
Gay
of
men who
that camp.
perform as nothing as... It comes down to me, like a lot of gay men I know who perform as nothing other than a gay man.
Yeah.
Just using queer as a cop out for all the connotations that comes with being a gay man in America in 2017 or 2018 or whatever time period we're existing in is so boring to me, because like, if you're going to do everything a gay man does and only ever live your life like that, but then you're going to use queer for online brownie points, it's boring and it just dilutes the label. So
And it's like, it reminds me of this whole thing about like when you talk about your label and you talk about the like possession you have over it, it kind of reminds me of that topic we had about like art and just having that privilege to be like, this is my journey and this is my life. And it's
Yeah.
very like democratized and very like, I don't want to say selfish. I'm not going to call Kalani selfish, but like it comes to this idea of like, I don't want to give you guys any assistance. I want it to so be on my side and so my point of view that it kind of like just makes it confusing for everybody. And I
well,
think
not even just confusing,
yeah.
but in an ideal world where everything is queer and everyone prescribes to queer, what else is there to you? That's kind
Mm-hmm.
of my end all statement for this queer movement we're seeing, is like, there was a lot of people for a really long time that had to say exactly what they are because of
Yeah.
the kind of worlds and movements they were living through. And ideally, queer is the state of existence for everybody. So if that is eventually the reality, what else is there to you? Like,
Yeah.
queer can't just be a cop out to answers anymore. Like, you have to be more specific. And
like,
that's unpopular, and it's just the nature of the world we live in. In an ideal world, none of us would ever have to talk about sexuality because it wouldn't be something that mattered.
Yeah.
But it is something that
And
matters.
I don't want to go on this too much longer, but what do you think about people who say, and this is why I'm asking you because I really don't know, but like when they say, if somebody says they're bisexual and then they have to include that they're into trans people as well, some people say that because you're saying men and women already, you don't have to say
Yeah.
trans people, you don't have to say,
No, that's
binary.
exactly
Yeah.
it. If you say you're bisexual and then have to include a stipend that also includes trans people or genderqueer people, then
That
I would
truly
ask
can-
you
yeah.
to investigate your own thoughts and desires, because the thought that you had to reassert that for anybody is bizarre to me.
It's very separating. And the thing is, when she puts all these labels out, it's like, I don't want to associate with label, but here are 12 labels that I'm going to
Yeah.
associate with. And I'm like, okay, that's
but
just
good
confusing.
for her, I guess. I mean,
I don't want to drag her either, but I just
No,
think it's
she
a
didn't do
topic that
anything
it's more the
wrong.
discourse that came
Yeah.
about, that I was interested in.
God, discourse. When we all stop having that, the world will be a better place.
Here's a better discourse. This one's a little bit more clear cut. Did you hear about Shania Twain?
Oh, I have this. Did you hear
yeah.
this? Okay, I was going to say, did you hear also, but we haven't even talked about what's going on. So Shania Twain basically said that she wouldn't have voted for Hillary
Hillary.
Clinton, and, Trump just seems like the
The
better...
honest one?
Yeah. Okay,
Quote unquote honest.
Listen,
sis.
She later came out and apologized for saying it, but
She retracted that she would have voted for him, but it was like very confusing. I
Because
didn't really understand it. Like,
she didn't
it's one of
really
those apologies
say she
you
wouldn't
read.
have voted. She just said that like she apologized that people took offense to it.
Is that what? Oh,
Well,
God.
like she basically said that
It was so weird.
she told the British paper, "Do you want straight or polite? I would have voted for a feeling that is transparent." What? Like, what does that mean?
I just don't. We've had this topic so many times, and we're gonna talk about probably for another 3.5 fucking years. But literally, like, to associate yourself with that man in any sense of the fashion, I just can't even get
She
into
also
it.
says she wasn't prepared for the question and was trying to express how Trump had connected with a certain segment of the U.S. population. Okay,
Sis,
all I'm going to say is Hillary connected with another segment of the U.S. population. Like
a good
every
51% of them actually.
every president of this country has connected to a certain segment. That's bizarre. And the fact that you selected that segment, aka rural white people, which, as we've discussed before, seem to be everyone's new favorite topic when rural white people have always existed. And also there are
I mean, who are Shania Twain fans
rural
also?
people of color. Like the fact that we also have
my God,
kind of
right.
taken this national sentiment that rural white people are the only poor people in this country, or the only poor people
Which is
whose
bizarre.
opinions aren't being heard, is bizarre.
And I'm quite sure that's actually the not a minority. Like, I mean, it's just I can't. It's too much.
Okay, you know who are also rural and statistically poor demographics that have been underserved in this country? Native Americans, black people living in the South, literally any other person of color
Anyone
or
non-white,
population who is not
literally.
white also has a rural segment that is being underserved by major politics. So this whole attachment to white people just goes to show that your political beliefs only go as far as the needs of white people, and that's what Shania Twain did.
She's a Canadian too. So I don't know why she's really talking about this, but I guess it's just. I mean,
Well,
they
again,
asked her. They
you know,
asked her.
The
I should-
U.S. is homogeny, I guess, and everyone has to have an opinion on U.S. politics.
Real
whether
quick,
you're...
if anyone thinks that Canadians are automatically more liberal on the better side of things, it's
Well,
just,
go look at their treatment of First Nations people, and also the fact that slavery existed in Canada. It's
and
like,
also look at the fact that they are the largest oil producers that literally destroy and continuously destroy Native American habitats that they've deemed like savable and protected, but are still actually like demolishing for tar
it's
sand.
bizarre to me
and-
that a lot of like non-Americans have taken this belief that, well, at least my country is in America, when it's like, sis, we all live in late capitalism, okay? I promise you,
we're all at the
there's
same
not-
party, honey.
Borders aren't real, and your country isn't any better than ours. That's really what I've got for that. I also, did you hear about Natalie Portman? I feel like
This
the
was complicated.
well, the group was blowing up about it. Our Facebook group, The Freeloaders. If you haven't joined us on Facebook at Eating for Free, you can join our very private shit-talking Facebook group full of people that want to be called The Freeloaders. Anyway, so Natalie Portman canceled an appearance to receive her Genesis Prize in Israel, and a lot of people speculated that she was doing it to boycott Israel's treatment of Palestine and the West Bank,
Yeah.
especially recently with all of the bombings and, you know, just like horrific actions taken against the West Bank
God,
in like this year alone.
I just can't even handle that
So
entire enterprise.
she basically released a statement after the fact, and it's kind of long-winded and boring, so I'm not going to read the whole thing.
Please, the headline
But
version.
what she said was, don't put words in my mouth. I do not want to go to Israel because I don't want to publicly support Netanyahu, who is the president. She said that she doesn't agree with a lot of the actions taken in Israel, and she doesn't want to be seen as, you know, publicly supporting Israel, but also she's a
Yeah.
proud Israeli woman and supports Israeli culture and doesn't want to be seen as anti-Israel. So it was
did-
like
have-
a good thing that then got walked back, but still kind of a good thing, but still kind of a bad thing.
So like, but this is because before she was like almost she was like
very
pro-Israel and pro.
Israel, pro occupation of the West
Yeah.
Bank, pro Israeli Defense Force.
So like, she's now just going back on that.
Well, she's basically saying,
didn't she
like-
also talk about how she retracted her Roman Polanski signature? And all that stuff?
So I think Natalie Portman has been reading the headlines and has been getting dragged for filth on Twitter by all of us for years now.
Seeing the current change.
I mean, how many tweets have I sent out about Natalie Portman's support of the IDF? I mean, I couldn't even count. But she basically is like, I don't support the BDS movement, which is the boycott. Oh shit.
oh girl.
Anyways, so she basically said she doesn't support the BDS movement, but she also isn't going to come out as anti-Israel because she's like a proud Israeli woman and doesn't want to kind of trash that. So I don't know. It was something that I thought was super interesting. I think celebrities speaking out against Israel is still so rare that
It's
anytime
really,
I see it happen,
it's really not seen right now. Like a
when
lot of people
Lorde
don't have to talk
canceled
about it.
her show over
Yeah.
basically saying I support the BDS movement and I don't want to support the IDF or the Israeli Defense Forces occupation of the West Bank, and I'm in support of Palestinians, and I've been reading a lot about it. That was huge. Like, we'd never heard a celebrity talk like that in modern times.
It's really sad. Like, I remember I was reading about how, because, you know, there was Holocaust Remembrance Day last week, and people were talking about how the memory of the Holocaust and the idea and the whole history of just the Jewish people is starting to become so shrunken down because of what's happening right now, and people are confusing so much of what's happening in the Middle East with these misconceptions about Israel and Palestine. And it's just, it's too much. I just really, you know, do your research and look into it. And
it's not enough for us to unpack.
Yeah, it's way too much.
But
we need a whole
it's enough to really do your own research on and find a concrete solution. But I will say
do your research before you listen to what these celebrities are talking about, because there's
Yeah.
not many talking about, and it's
go
it's
read
messy.
about the Palestinians' experience on the West Bank and
Mm-hmm.
then form your own opinions. And I'm sure that after you do so, you'll be on the right side of history.
Yeah.
With that, we'll take a break and then we'll come back and talk about the housewives in our main discussion. But before we go, just know that even Sarah Palin is hawking fit tea on Instagram these days.
Are you kidding me?
Not
no,
kidding.
she's really.
She really is.
Wow.
Have a good break, y'all. Be back in 15 seconds.
Sad.
Glass of red wine and a swisher. I think you get the picture, bitch.
How dare you?
Wow, okay, let me get down off of all 5 soapboxes I just stood on. Let me get you down off 3 you got on. And we're back. We're ready to talk about 2 of our favorite things, and actually both of them, for once in the history of this podcast, lend themselves to our main discussion point.
I don't see how it will, but I believe we'll get there.
No, just can you hold my hand really quick?
I will.
So, listener, he's holding my hand.
Yes.
Trust and believe
Okay.
that Joan has a plan for you.
I 100% trust you and believe
Cool.
you.
So, Real Housewives of Atlanta.
My God. Okay, doesn't
How
Atlanta
does
not
this-
fucking deliver? I'm sorry.
How does this relate to our main discussion, you ask? And Lawson is screaming, does it never deliver? And I'm like, both are true. Let's get into it.
Okay.
So, Real Housewives of Atlanta, we know going into the reunions that Andy Cohen had said, that is the last I'll see of that wig in relation to Kim Zolciak Biermann, blow up sex doll, and now jobless former housewife.
It's beautiful how nature works.
She, if you don't know or are not a homosexual of America, was notorious this season as she was like an OG cast member of The Real Housewives of Atlanta, quit after season 3. And then
She was only on for 3 years out of the 10 it's been on now.
Yeah. And, you know,
she was just a friend of the housewife
came
this
back.
season. Yeah.
She has a long-standing feud, mostly due to her inherent racism with Nene Leakes, the titular housewife of The Real Housewives of Atlanta. This season, she spent most of the, airtime calling out Nene, saying Nene had roaches in her home, saying that Nene had a dirty home, calling Nene a
talking
drug
shit
addict.
with like Sheree,
Yeah.
and just like talking shit in general.
Basically pulling out a bunch of racist stereotypes against Nene, saying she was angry, she had roaches in her house, etc., etc.
And then she had shit with Candy even,
Yeah.
which was like so unnecessary.
Saying that Candy tried to have sex with her, stuff like that. Like basically rehashed plot lines,
Pretty much.
but just more racist because they're coming from
Almost
her
the
mouth.
entire show was just Nene. It was just Kim arriving late with Croy like in the driver's seat,
Yeah.
and then her like complaining
Her
with the red
Uber
Solo cup.
driver husband driving her around so she could drink Gallo Winery Moscato out of a red Solo cup. So let's get into it. So the reunion comes around. She gets invited to the stage. Most of her arrival is met with her and Nene yelling at each other. She spends the entire reunion telling Nene, you're broke, you're waist up, you're just jealous of me and my husband and my success, you're boring, you're a liar, you're a scammer, you're fake, haha, you have roaches in your house, bye. And then leaves the stage very publicly and goes backstage.
This was the last 5
in
minutes of the episode.
final moments of the reunion.
Really, God gives.
And a producer comes running out of the bathroom and screams, "I need Andy and a camera now."
I need Andy. When you see I need Andy, you know shit is going to be good.
I really want to start saying I need Andy and a camera every time there's drama in my life. I need Andy and a camera in the bathroom now. So Andy and the camera arrive. Sheree is standing in the wings, ready to watch whatever's about to go down.
It's so okay. This is why Sheree got fired, because she aligned herself with the worst character on the show, who was a friend of the Housewives this season and was generally disliked. Like, you're gonna get fired. You don't align well with everybody else.
Literally, if you're
Why are you
going
wasting
to
your time?
align with the sexy version of the balloon men outside of car dealerships, bad taste, horrible taste.
Joan, stop. Stop
the
it now.
Instagram version of car dealership blow up balloon men.
I was thinking more like the 3D interpretation of like a 2-dimensional picture that they like blow up into a 3D printed doll. Like,
so Kim is like crying in the bathroom with her Uber driver husband Croy. He makes Postmates deliveries on the weekend to pay for their 13 rented Bentleys. She's like, I'll paraphrase here because it's really racist. She basically says that all those black women are bullying me because I'm a white woman, and there's no white women on the Real Housewives of Atlanta because they're all mean and angry, and they all make up racism, and racism isn't a real thing. They're just saying that to get ratings.
she said before social media, the racism wasn't even a thing.
Yeah, she's like, before social media, racism wasn't even a real problem. And
she was
they're all
saying it's
making
made
it up.
Yeah.
And I'm just a victim of all their bullying and their anger. And then Andy's standing there looking like an idiot, completely silent, wide-eyed. And then Sheree's just nodding her head silently. I don't really want to get into Sheree because it's not my place to speak on.
How was Croy gonna pay for his new booty implants now that she's off the show? That's
so
my question.
So let's get on to this. So why I want to relate this to our main discussion is because the persona of Kim Zolciak Biermann is one that has now trickled down into other celebrities on Instagram.
Okay.
Are you seeing it now?
Yes, I'm seeing it.
So,
I knew there was a connection, but I couldn't find the word.
Kim Zolciak Biermann is a person who made a platform for herself off of a platform already laid down
yes,
and cemented by black women.
Yes.
The Real Housewives of Atlanta exists because black women have been spearheading that franchise successfully, I might add.
Without her.
For 10 years. She came on as the only white woman to ever be on the show and made a name for herself and got a spin-off off of being the only white woman to ever be on that show, and then has an entire persona that exists solely as her pretending to be a black woman in a white woman's body.
The name of her show, Don't Be Tardy, is based off the song Don't Be Tardy for the Party that was made by Candy that she ripped her off with. She didn't pay Candy for it. They had a lawsuit.
Also being Candy Burris, one of the most successful black women record producers in Atlanta. So that is kind of the foundation for this stage. White women who make a personality for themselves off of being fake black women that then gain notoriety online, make money for themselves off of that persona, but publicly trash and are racist against other visible black women in the same industry.
And we're really going to have to explain to them, because there's some people who will not understand this concept whatsoever of what we're about to describe, which are these three Instagram girls. That is the main topic of the show right now.
This topic kind of came to mind for me this week and was only further cemented by what Kim said at the reunion by a fight going on in the press right now between three, hold your breath, Instagram famous rappers that are neither black nor rappers.
Nor adults.
Nor adults.
One is 18 at the oldest.
One is 15 and one is 9.
9.
9 years old.
One of them is Lily.
Who are we talking about?
One
Would
of
you
them
care
was
to say their
literally
names?
born in the year 2009.
Would you care to say who we're talking about?
We're talking about. Let me get this out right here. I have a chart right here. We have Bad Baby. That's spelled with an H in each word. Bad Baby. I already can't. It's so fucking stupid.
Also called the Cash Me Outside girl.
Yeah, Daniel Bergoli.
White J's, white Porsche, white wrist, white horse, high bitch, high bitch, high bitch, high bitch. I do not sniff it to roll it.
I just love hearing their real names because it really
Say my
tells the tea.
name, say my name.
And then we have Woe Vicky, aka Icky Vicky, aka Victoria Waldrip.
Who
She's-
is a white woman pretending to be black in Atlanta.
Yes, she's an Instagram personality with 1 million followers. Someone, this article we were reading called the Rachel Dolezal 2.0.
So all you bitches hating on me, you bitches need to get your motherfucking money up. Stop hating, bitch. Go get some money, bitch. Maybe if you wasn't so motherfucking busy hating, you can get some money too, bitch. Stop hating, bitch.
Okay,
And then we
who's
have- and
player
then we-
number 3.
Little Tay, or Taylor, who is 9. She is the most elusive and I think the biggest question mark out of this entire process because
So-
we do not know who she is. We do not know who her parents are. We don't know anything about her, but she has over 1 million followers on Instagram and she has millions of views on her YouTube videos. And all we know about her is that she has money and cars and is in a Chief Keef video.
So
A Chief Keef video, and she is 9.
a video came to light from DJ Academic's Instagram from The Grove, I think, in California.
It was in Glendale.
Yeah, Glendale. And a lot of them...
It would be in Glendale. I'm just gonna say
So
right
it
here.
started with Bad Baby, who's the Cash Me Outside girl, fighting with this white girl from Atlanta named Icky Vicky or Woe Vicky. And then the inclusion of 9-year-old Lil Tay in the fight video was the most puzzling aspect of everything. And everyone started to be
They
like,
are literally half the height of everyone around them. First of all,
they're
let me
like,
tell
okay,
you.
wait a minute. What are they doing fighting? Who's Lil Tay? Who's Woe Vicky? And why is the Cash Me Outside girl fighting with any of them? So we're gonna kind of break it down for you the best we know how, and then we're gonna
It's
talk
really
about
confusing and
how
really
this all
complicated.
meshes. So, as you know, Cash Me Outside girl got famous because y'all wouldn't stop retweeting that clip of her on Dr. Phil
So that-
saying,
yeah.
"Cash Me Outside, how about that?"
Yeah, that video was like years old, and it just recently kind of resurfaced. It was really confusing.
And then Woe Vicky is an Instagram famous white girl who says the N-word constantly
And
on
says
the
she's
internet.
like part black, but is
She
not.
calls herself the Zone 6 queen, despite people saying that she is a rich white girl with a rich property developer father who has only ever grown up with wealth and
Sis.
prosperity in her life.
Sis.
Her and the Cash Me Outside girl, Bad Baby, have beef that has been going on for months now because Bad Baby called her out for being a racist in a reaction video on YouTube.
This entire drama circulates between Instagram videos and YouTube reaction videos.
Yeah.
And DMs
So,
and
for
comments.
those of you who exist in the real world, there is an entire subculture on YouTube and Instagram revolving around Instagram famous celebrities making reaction videos on YouTube about each other. Then you have Lil Tay, and I'm just going to insert some audio of Lil Tay right here, and y'all can witness what it is that we're talking about. Disclosure, she's 9.
Lil Tay be trapping out in 6-star hotels. And I got the iPhone X. What y'all broke ass bitches have? Y'all have iPhone 5. And I'll be drinking your college tuition, bitch. Lil Tay be drinking good. I got this Gucci lip roller. This shit cost me $6,000. And I'll be using it to brush off all y'all raggedy ass hoes. This iPhone cost me $2,000 bucks. What y'all know about that life?
so
Y'all ain't gonna live it like
unappealing,
Lil
and
Tay.
it's
Lil Tay
so
money
confusing.
with, bitch.
Why is she like this?
Okay.
Why is this okay? Why are we
So
allowing this?
we're back, and she's 9. Let me just say that again.
I
She's
can't.
9, and a lot of people have sound saying, "Who's Lil Tay, and why is she in this video with 2 semi-adults and then a bunch of grown men surrounding them fighting in the Grove.
In Glendale.
Like
for what?
Like, what's going on here?
And they don't even really fight. It's just them yelling like, "I'm gonna beat you up. I'm gonna fight
Yeah,
you. Like, come
fight
get
me.
me."
I'm 15. You're 18. You're gonna go to jail. And then Lil Tay is standing there like, yeah, get him. Lil Tay also makes her whole persona online basically saying, I'm rich. I have everything. You have nothing, and you're broke.
Videos
and
of her
holding,
with
like,
a car when even though she's 9 years old.
standing on top of Lexuses, holding a money phone.
She has these videos, by the way, have millions of views.
Millions.
Bad Baby literally has, I think, 8 music videos that all are ranging from 20 to over 100 million views each.
Each. So
Remember when 1 million views was like a big viral deal?
if
And
there was
those
a Venn
people are
diagram of black women and these celebrities, they would be 2 different circles.
Untouched.
Because black women are in one camp and white women or Lil Tay.
White children.
Yeah, basically children and people who are not white would be in a completely different circle. Because what all the players in this, as well as Kim Zolciak Biermann, aforementioned, or Khloe Kardashian, who we mentioned in last week's episode, what they all have in common is that none of them are black. But what do all of these audio clips that we have included here show you? They all put on what is now deemed as a black scent, which is assuming the identity, which as a white person is racist to assume that this is what black people talk like. An identity or a slang or a vernacular commonly assumed in racist circles to be a black accent or a black personality.
It's just speaking not the way that you actually would speak in the people that you're around
Changing
with.
your voice to appear more black or more quote unquote rapper like or hip hop or whatever the characterization you're going to use is, and then making money or a personality in the public sphere.
And that's
off
the,
of
that's
that.
the whole problem, is that the reason why they're doing is because they can, and people like it when white people act this way because it excuses the blackness of the kind of content people are looking for.
Yeah, it basically
it's this 2-in-1 moment that people like.
removes the actual originators of this content and then puts white people as the face of it, and then makes it more easily palatable to, I don't know, suburban moms who are Kim Zolciak Biermann's audience. Like, that's what I want to know.
That's what I always think about. Like, who are these people that actually like these bitches?
So basically what Kim Zolciak Biermann did on The Real Housewives of Atlanta was basically say, fuck all of the black women on this show.
Pretty much.
I made famous all on my own. Racism isn't real. F all you guys. And then what Bad Baby
said there was no positive content, you know, even though Andy said you didn't film any positive content.
Yeah,
this
and then Lil
season.
Vicky or whatever these girls' names are, Lil Tay, Danielle Bergoli, none of them are black, but they all put on black accents, especially Woah
and they
Vicky.
all like quote unquote rap.
Yeah. Woah
Which
Vicky
pretty much just means
grew
like
up
a production.
in the rich white suburbs of Atlanta, but talks like, I don't know, someone who's not from the rich white suburbs of Atlanta, making a personality and getting millions and millions and millions of views from that personality.
And I guess some money, which when people upload these photos of wads of cash and Louis Vuitton bags, I truly do not understand the authenticity of it. I really cannot wrap my head around this being something they actually possess and own.
What I think,
especially the 9-year-old girl, how does she have multiple cars and multiple houses?
No, she doesn't. And this is what we're getting at. So basically what I think all of these examples are showing us is that being black is being a part of black culture specifically is to the media makers and the industry elite and whatnot, a profitable venture.
Yeah.
But what seems to be the trend is placing non-black people into those roles and then funding those roles or gaining attention for those roles by, removing, like, for hip hop, for instance, Post Malone is a great example.
Oh my God.
You take
before
a
Beyonce,
successful art form and remove black people from it, as black people are the originators of hip hop, rap, R&B, and most pop music.
Yeah.
You remove black people from the context, place this ugly white guy at the center of it, and then make $1 million off of him.
Pretty much.
Danielle Bergoli, Cash Me Outside Girl, or what's her name? Bad Baby.
Yeah.
Get her viral for the kind of thing that she was doing on Dr. Phil, which is all Cash Me Outside, how about that? Make a rap career off of her by saying, oh, this viral person has the ability to generate headlines and notoriety.
She's urban. She's loud. It's like these stereotypes that they want to have fun with.
Yeah, or
It's
Vicky,
really,
who
really
isn't in one of
strange.
those camps, but was just like, I'm rich and I get attention acting like
She
this.
says she's a rapper apparently, but like
She's
she hasn't
not.
made a song.
She has a rich property developer
She
father
has a
who buys all
yeah.
of her things
She has a
for
video
her.
of her with this like BMW or some like just sports car saying, "I ain't even got like an album yet, and I ain't even got a record deal yet, but look all this money I got." I'm like, this is attractive to
Or
people.
Lil
like-
Tay holding money phones and talking like, I don't know, an extra in a Chief Keef video.
It's ridiculous.
Because she is
In a
an
Chief-
extra in a Chief Keef video at 9 years old.
Who
holding
are her
money
parents?
phones, talking
That
about
is the
how
question.
rich she
No one
is.
knows who she is. That's the part that fucks me up is nobody knows who this woman is. Like they
Which is
can't
how
give a
you
last
know-
name.
That's again the point is she's literally this industry plant.
Yeah,
Where
yeah.
there is a rich person behind.
They know what
her,
they're doing.
Basically saying, "Oh, this little girl, whether it's
Yeah.
my little girl or someone else's little girl, who they're giving me permission to use the image of, makes a lot of money for us because her YouTube videos get millions of clicks.
Did this-
her Instagram has
Yeah.
millions of followers, and what do millions equal in today's culture? AdSense, Google AdSense, and
Yep.
sponsors.
Yep.
People will pay you no matter who you are and what you do if you make millions of engagements
if you get-
happen for their content.
If you get 10 cents, even 5 cents a click, but you get 1,000,000 clicks, that's still like hundreds of thousands of dollars you're going to
Yes,
get.
or
Like, that's all you need for like one
We've
little ad
seen it
promo. It's not very
time
difficult.
And time again that no matter how evil and fucked up a person's politics might be, their ability to go viral is always going to be their cementing in the culture, because if they can still get millions of people to engage
And talk
with
about them,
whatever
yeah.
they're doing, whether it's good or bad, they still get to be around because the powers that be see that and say, we don't care if you're a bad person or a good person, but you bring attention to whatever we're doing.
And the
so
reason
we're gonna
why-
let
yeah.
you keep doing that.
And the reason why it works so well is because these are the kind of people, specifically these Instagram girls or like even Kim Zolciak and all those other people, they make content that is purposefully, I don't know how to an extent of how literal this is, like if they execute it this way, but it's meant to be controversial, it's meant to be unappealing, and it's meant to make people angry or jealous. And that only fuels more clicks and likes and comments, because when these girls upload the videos of them saying, "Oh, I own all these like cars and I'm not even old enough to drive," people get so angry and are like, "I wish I had this car. Oh, can you believe this girl got this car?" And
Or
people just
who
want to
does
make fun
this
of
little
her.
girl think she is?
Who does she
talking
think
like
she
this?
is?
But
Yeah.
you're still clicking on her videos.
You're still
and
commenting, you're still giving them content.
boosting
Yeah.
their social profile.
As long as Bad Baby gets like, 100 million views on her music video, she's literally up there with everyone else at
or
this point,
bringing
which
it
is
back,
insane.
as long as Rachel Dolezal still gets millions of people
Or a
talking
book
about her,
deal.
she still gets a book deal in a documentary.
It's like it's sickening. It's gross.
It's what I've think we all need to start doing, which is divesting ourselves from people that we hate online, because
Truly.
it truly is the
It's
age
not even
of-
funny, ironically.
Yeah.
It really isn't.
No press is bad press, literally anymore, because it used to be, oh, well, all press is good press because you're being talked about. But in today's culture, that is actually very statistically true, because all press in the end, or all attention or interactions with your posts, equal for people with millions of followers money, money, money.
We all hate Trump's
So-
tweets. We all hate the shit that these people say, but yet they still get cataloged and get articles written up about them, and they still get news coverage. They still get millions of ad sales in between those coverages. Like, we're still gonna literally give our attention to it.
No, news outlets are still going to write about them, because if you write a think piece angrily
Exactly.
about Danielle Bregoli, people are going to angrily read your content, and your website is going to make money
Yeah.
off of the AdSense that you get from people interacting with whatever headline you post on Twitter.
God, is that us right now?
Exactly, and we're making a podcast about it. Time is a flat circle, and so are podcasts. But I don't want to say that
But we're
speak-
advising them to,
Neither of us speak for Black people, and neither of us speak
Yeah.
for anybody who isn't ourselves. But you have to be a literal dumb idiot to not know that pretending to be a Black person as a non-Black person to make money is an evil, fucked up, racist thing to do.
I will never understand that culture of flaunting your money online. Like, it is so bizarre
It's
to me.
boring to be 9 and say you have all this money when your parents bought it for you. Like, That's what I think is so depressing about this hyper materialistic world that we live in now.
The Louis Vuitton. It always has to be some hype beast shit like Louis Vuitton, Balenciaga,
Well, like,
and some cash.
it's
and
boring,
it sells.
especially when rich
It's
kids
so
talk about how
fucking
much
lame.
money they have. You don't have any money. Your parents have money, and it's boring. You didn't work for any of that, and guaranteed your parents probably, if you're white, came from a socioeconomic standing that allowed them to easily transition into being rich.
Do you like when we like
most of the
like
time.
when we watch, you know, like the Kyle Richards or like Bethany Frankel or like Candy, who have like continually made more money based off what they've done and like stuff they've done. These aren't even situations of like rags to riches necessarily for some of these people, but we still like watching people work and watching them have a narrative is like interesting and like they're regular people. But when these people are their entire personality, like this 9-year-old Tay girl who just apparently had 1 million followers instantly on Instagram just for showing her money, like I don't know what in that gives any substance or satisfaction or a narrative to follow. It's like purely reactionary.
It makes me think
voidless
like
content.
people
Like,
cannot truly be this vapid and shallow. Like there has to be Russian bots at the base of all of this. Like it truly
That's what makes me
cannot
think
be
about
that just this 9-year-old girl flashing money phones on Instagram,
no.
pretending
Yeah.
to be a black person. Like it is. There's no way it's that interesting to people.
it's like half of it, but there's another half. Okay,
No, that's
but
what
you
I'm
know
saying. Is
but
like
you know
it
what's
truly
true?
depresses. It's I can't figure out what's more depressing, that there's someone buying her followers or that people actually go up for this.
Really,
That's the whole point of
Listen to this
this.
though. So it's possible and cheap enough to buy accounts that will click links for you. So if you put a link out, let's say let's get 10 cents a click, but you only have to pay 5 cents per user to click on that link, you're still going to make some money off of it. So there's these people who literally pay to have followers, pay for those followers to click and act on stuff that will then make them even more money because the advertisers think they're real people when they're actually just bots. And it's like this cycle. And as long as you get into these top ranks or these top tiers of Instagram and YouTube, which where these girls are, and you get enough media coverage, then you can keep getting a momentum based off of that ends up being real. And you're pretty much buying your way to the top through these like really freaky means. And I really have to say, it's like, do we have to blame Maury and Dr. Phil at this point? Because this is really where it's all coming from, is it not? Like people who are pretty much becoming entertainment based off just being like shitty people.
Yeah.
Like it really comes down to that for like people just being total like.
Well, I really don't think
impersonators.
we've truly been able to, as a society, reckon with what money and the internet means for these record companies. I don't think we've really seen the full effects of what money and a record industry can accomplish to us, because like I almost guarantee you most of the charts, most of the reviews for albums, most of these Instagram accounts, most of what celebrity constitutes is just record companies moving money around a variety of online venues to then prove how much money they're making and then using that to make more money. Like,
Yeah.
I know it sounds redundant, but I don't think we've truly as a society reckoned with that fully, or reckoned with what this actually means for everybody. And so personally, I can say that I am trying to live a more conscious lifestyle of all of these things.
Awareness.
But regardless, I have a podcast dedicated to talking about these things. So you take it all in stride.
Yeah. I mean, we're telling you what we think, and I don't think if there are more people like us, I think there'd be less people like them. I guess is what we're kind of trying to say here. Like,
Be smart consumers, truly. Like,
don't eat this shit up and think it's just fun and games, because it's
Yeah.
real money and real opportunities being taken away from people who deserve
and
it.
trust your instincts online. Like, if you see people and you're like, something seems fishy about this, there probably is something fishy
Okay,
about
okay,
this.
okay. You know
Like
what
the
it is?
yodeling
Yeah.
kid that we talked about last week.
Okay, yeah, exactly.
If it feels fishy 9 times out of 10, it's probably fishy.
So, like, I'm seeing a lot of people. So you and I have been on the internet for a really long time, and we've seen people grow in these circles of social media and influence, and I've seen a lot of people have to kind of step back from these accounts they associate themselves with, and these, like, all this idea of just making it big and making it good on social media and thinking that just because you're, like, this bad bitch online, you can kind of make it there and have this lifestyle of money and fame and class and capitalist excellence. It's poisonous, it's repetitive, it's like a byproduct of all this shit, and it's gross. I don't need it in my life. I don't think having Louis Vuitton bags and cash is funny, ironically. It's just, I don't know. I mean, I laugh and it's ridiculous, but it makes me sad inside because it's a waste of our time.
truly everything about the internet makes me dead inside. And with that, we have to close out our show.
Yeah, please now.
I don't even know how long we've been going, but it's a while. So,
Yeah.
big announcement. We will not be having an episode next week. I am moving to a different city, closer actually to Matt, but farther away from where I'm living now.
She's
So
moving out of the city.
I know, thank God. It's going to be the best move I've ever made, but I kind of need to just have the week to get settled and then come back in 2 weeks with hot gossip, fresh content, amazing things to discuss. We'll give y'all a chance to cool down after this explosive episode we're about to drop. But other than that, I just wanted to say, again, I love y'all. And follow us on Instagram at Eating for Free. Follow us on Twitter at E4, the letter 4, F podcast. Email us at eatingforfreepodcast@gmail.com. And follow us on Facebook at Eating for Free.
And also, we're on Twitter, _Matthew Lawson.
And Joni Sucks.
And, you know, that's what the tea
Same on
is.
Twitter and on Instagram.
Follow us Being Dumb Online throughout the week. The content does not stop. Like, just because you put the headphones down and that you close the podcast app does not mean the show is over. You can continue this experience.
And we've gotten an influx of new listeners over the last 2 weeks. So if you haven't already, please rate, review, and subscribe us on Apple Podcasts.
Oh my God, and share this podcast, please.
Literally.
For the love of God.
Share this podcast with one friend challenge.
I know, we're in top 8, and it seems like we're just in the top of the world, but we still need your support. It only lasts so long.
Yeah.
We're very thirsty. We're very
Yeah.
hungry.
There
And you are
Millions
too.
Millions of podcasts fighting us for this spot, and we're here. I'm ready to boot stomp on any trying to claw their way to where I am now. But we need your help, podcast listeners of America and beyond.
And that's our show.
That really is our show.
We'll see you in 2 weeks.
I want to say it was quick and easy this week, but we have been going on for a while. So,
And there's still other things we didn't get to talk about.
oh my God, I cut out so much, but I did it for all of you because I love you. I want the best for you.
You're our baby.
That's all a lie. Let's go watch Vanderpump Rules.
Well,
Goodbye.
Yes.
1, 2,
2,
3.
3.
Goodbye.
What do I think of her?
Yes?
I don't think of her.
Shut your f***ing mouth. I've had enough of you, you beast.
Beast?
Yeah.
How dare you?
Glass of red wine and a swisher. I think you get the picture.
How dare you?
Lil Tay be trapping out in 6-star hotels. And I got the iPhone X. What y'all broke ass bitches have? Y'all have iPhone 5. And I'll be drinking your college tuition, bitch. Lil Tay be drinking good. I got this Gucci lid roller. This shit cost me $6,000. And I'll be using it to brush off all y'all raggedy ass hoes. This iPhone cost me $2,000. What y'all know about that life? Y'all ain't gonna live it like Lil Tay. Lil Tay money way, bitch.